Hi, it's Kathy from Bishopstone Yarns, and I'd like to welcome you here to this episode of my crafting podcast. If you're a new viewer, I'd like to welcome you. Thank you for coming along and seeing what I've been making. This is a mainly kind of crafting podcast talking about knitting, crocheting, sewing, mainly those kind of things. And if I get myself organised, I might even get into doing some weaving this year. But and if you're a returning viewer, hi, it's great to see you back again. And sorry, it's been a while. We are, what are we? Are we on episode? I think it might be episode 52. I'm going to have to check that. But it's been a little while since I've popped on to say hello to everyone and show you what I've been making. Unfortunately, I have been a little bit sick and I caught pneumonia. And so I was kind of laid up in bed and quite poorly for a few weeks. And the worst thing was that I was stuck in bed and at home, and I couldn't eat. I was so sick I couldn't even do any crafting. I think it's about 2 weeks I didn't do any crafting, nothing, no sewing, no knitting, nothing, which seems like a huge amount of time for me not to be doing anything or making anything. But I was just I wasn't feeling well enough to be able to do anything. And even when I started to get a bit better, I found that I couldn't concentrate on anything. So that's why it has taken me a little while since my last podcast. And but I'm here now and feeling so much better. I guess I should finish introducing myself. So I am coming to you from Tasmania, which is the little island to the south of Australia. And you find me at the moment in the corner of my studio. And it is the start of March 2024. And even though we're just going into autumn at the moment, we have had a couple of days of really cold, cold compared to what we've had. We've had some beautiful weather down here. And of course, there's been some absolutely beautiful weather while I've been sick. But just before I got sick, we did have some temperatures in the 30s, and I went swimming. I live near the beach, so I was able to go swimming and have a lovely time. And then, of course, I got sick, and it hasn't rained for ages, and my poor garden is very, very dry, and missing a lot of rain and a lot of watering while I was sick. But the rains will come again, and I'm sure the garden hopefully is just going to hang in there until the rains come. So normally at this time of the year it's a little bit warmer down here, and I'm not usually in a scarf, but at the moment it is a little bit cool today, so I thought I'd just wear a scarf and keep myself nice and warm here in the studio while I have a chat to you. So as I was saying, February, this year hadn't really started as I had thought it was going to. I was kind of hoping that I would start off January with a podcast all about what I had made last year and all those things that I was planning to make this year. And for those people who've seen the video, of course, I was saying I wasn't really quite sure, hadn't quite decided what I wanted to make, what I wanted to do, what kind of list. I did pretty well with my list from last year, and with my Make 9 and the things that I wanted to do. And I can't even remember now. Actually, I'll just sort of grab my little notes here. I was going to go through the things that I had made. I don't know if I've talked about them or not, but last year I ended up making a jumper for my husband. I made socks for all of my 3 kids. I made some socks for my husband, I made the Birkin sweater, and so I had already made a dark Birkin, and then I was able to make the light one, and I had mended a little knitted piece of a little ornament of Mary to go on Advent. No, it's not an Advent, at Christmas time, a little display. The only other knitting thing there that I had on my list that I hadn't made was a blue cardigan. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to put that on to a list for this year. I don't know. And then, of course, I had quite a few bits and pieces of cross stitch. So I had done the Buzzy Bees. I had finished that one. I'd finished the 1831 Christmas cross stitch. I had started. I had not finished. I had started my 12 Days of Christmas in December. So I don't know that I can say I've finished that, but at least I had started it. I was continuing working on my Farmer's Wife sampler quilt, which I'm still continuing on. And there was, I had some little pillows with spring flowers on them, so I'd finished those off. And I'd finished off some little wall hangings of fairies, which I'd started many, many years ago. The other things that I hadn't started was I had a pattern called Cereal Bowl. No, it's not there. Oh, is that Mary On? Oh, and the other one was Mary On, which is this one, which I haven't started either. So they might just roll over to this year. I still want to, well, I guess the things in progress are my Farmer's Wife sampler quilt. So I think I've only got, I think it's 9 blocks to go. And I had hoped to actually get at least 3 of those done before I started going back to my quilting group this year. But of course I hadn't done that, and then I got sick, so I haven't even looked at the material, haven't even tried to work out the last 9 blocks at all. I haven't started there at all. So, oh well, but that'll be get finished this year. And the 12 Days of Christmas Advent cross stitch, I'm going to continue on with that this year and hopefully get a number of those finished before Christmas. What else have I got written down here? Well, of course I'm going to make socks for everyone in the family. So that's for my husband, my 3 children. And this year I'm going to knit myself a pair of socks. And I was going to knit the Dala jumper. And I was thinking about knitting the flax jumper by Tin Can Knits, and a crochet blanket, and hopefully do a bit of weaving. So they're all the things that I was thinking about doing for this year. As it happens, maybe I'll start with a Dala. So this is the Dala jumper, and I have finished this, but I haven't woven in any of the ends. So here it is. I think, here we go. So here it is, the Dala jumper. So this is going to be what I will call my Christmas jumper. Because we have Christmas in summertime here, I didn't want a really, really heavy, thick jumper. So it's kind of a nice shortish jumper with the Dala horse. So for those people who don't know, in Sweden, there is a tradition, there is a Dala horse, which is they're usually about this big. There's a horse, wooden horses that are carved and then decorated, hand painted and decorated, that come from the area, I think it's from the area of Dala in Sweden. And so it's a really big tradition. It's a really, I guess a lot of tourists as well go there and buy them, but it's a very Scandinavian design, I guess I would say. And it always makes me think about Christmas as well, because I have spent a couple of Christmases in Scandinavia, in Denmark, and had lived in Denmark for a year many years ago. So this is my Christmas jumper, which I'm so happy that I can actually say that is number one that I have finished on my list. Let me just excuse me for a minute while I get my things out. So I had knitted all of this from 2 cones. Oh, here's the other one. So these were from the Bendigo woolen mill, and this is 3-ply classic and in the colour cherry. This one is the colour charcoal and is a 3-ply classic as well. So they're both 100% wool. And as you can see, quite fine. And I was a little surprised at how much wool I still had left. On the cones, I don't know. I just thought that it would have used up a little bit more wool, but just means I can continue knitting another jumper in the kind of charcoal and the cherry colour if I choose to. So that's what I had used, and oh gosh, the needles I used for this pattern. I should have had this written down. So I've got a 3.5 millimeter circular and a 3.25 millimeter circular. So I like to knit my jumpers usually on circulars. I do like a top-down, all-in-one construction, so I don't have to seam up. Just because I'm a bit lazy, I guess. I just don't really like piecing together my jumpers and cardigans, even though I will do it if I have to. But so they were the 2 needles I used, and yes, I'm really happy with my jumper. I haven't, like as I said, I haven't sewn the ends in yet. I haven't washed it and given it its final wash yet. And I haven't worn it yet, but I'm really happy with it. Really happy. So the next thing I did, so when I was, as I was saying, sorry about that crinkling, while I was sick, I wasn't able to do any crafting at all. I just feel like February has kind of like come and gone without the ability to do anything really. But the first thing, when I was starting to feel a little bit better, the first thing I was able to do was get back into making some more crocheted granny squares. So I am working on the granny squares for a rug. I can just show you then. And this pattern I am using from there's a podcaster called Cherry Hart, and she has a crochet blanket called the Battenberg blanket, I think it's called. And so in that she has alternating color squares and white squares. So it looks like a Battenberg cake, if people are familiar with that. And so I really liked the design. So I've kind of used the design that she has gone with, but because I didn't have the white, this is just, as I had said before, acrylic that I had picked up from the op shop. Now, I'm not usually a person who uses acrylic at all, but it was at the op shop and I just thought, well, I'm not buying it new. I just wanted a rug that I can kind of have on the couch, use on the couch that the dog can sit on, the cat can sit on, and I can wash easily, and I'm not going to be too precious about it, because if it was wool, I'd have to be just a little bit more careful, and I think I would be less happy about my pets kind of sitting on the blanket. So I have, if I can just get them all out. So here we go. So, and I was limited in colour by what was in the op shop at the time, and so I just bought what they had. So here's a stack of the pink ones. Let's see if I can find a spot up here to pop everything. And then there was a stack of kind of a peachy colour this is. So if you can kind of see, nice little stack there of those. And a slightly different kind of pink colour here. Oh, that's the one where I got to the end but didn't have enough to finish the very last one. So got a little bit more pink here. And just the very last kind of bluey purpley ones. So they're all the ones that I have made at the moment. What I've got left over at the moment, at this point in time, is I have, you can see that through there. So I've got a few more of the pink that I'm able to make, and then I have these two here, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or if I'll just put an edge around the blanket with this colour, because I think this is slightly this is a slightly thinner wool than what I have been using for the other blocks. But having said that, I have already started to put a number of these together. I don't know how this is going to go in showing you, but so I have been putting quite a few of these together, and because I didn't have large numbers of one particular colour, I've kind of, I don't know, just been putting it together kind of not really randomly, but kind of it's going to be kind of fairly random. So maybe if I just can go through and show you my colours. And then of course I've got a few more of these ones to attach, and then the outer edge will be kind of the pinker colours. I'm not quite sure if I'll just kind of continue, I think I'll just do them all around the outside. And then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do here with the edge, whether I'll just leave the very edge of the blanket a bit zigzaggy, or whether I'll just put like a little, maybe like a little do you call it, shell kind of edging on it. That might be maybe the way to go. But so far so good. I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. And I'm not quite sure if when I've been putting it together whether or not, I'm not really a crocheter, and so when I've joined, I don't know if I can show you or not, but here where I've joined these ones here in the middle, I'm not sure if there would have been a better way to do that, but I think it's holding together okay. There doesn't seem to be any big huge holes in there. And of course I'm going to have all these ends here to have to sew in at the very end. Look, I'll turn around, you can see them all here, all the ends as well. But even I think it looks quite neat and tidy. I quite like the way that how it's put together on the back. So I'm quite happy with that, quite happy with how it's all looking and how well the colours go together. So thank you very much to the lovely person, whoever was, who put those in at the op shop. I really appreciate it. So that's the only kind of knitting and crocheting that I've really been up to. I have, as I said, I haven't been doing any of my cross stitch, but I have been getting back into a little bit more of my sewing, so my quilting. So I've just been doing some hand quilting. So I'll just move everything. I had a little afternoon of taking all these squares, or no, these are not squares, sorry, these, what are they, hexagons together, that I had picked up from a garage sale, and spent the afternoon putting cardboard in there. Oh, it's not going to focus, is it? Putting the cardboard in to all these little shapes, and then I have got a little container here of all the different shapes, and I have actually organized these ones here so that I've got my central color and the main color of the flower. I think I've got about 10 lots in there at the moment, and then here at the back I've got a stack of material hexagons that I haven't got the paper in yet. So I've been using cardboard and glue, the special quilting glue, to put those together. But I'm thinking, actually, when I get round to the different colours, so these are all my autumn colours that I've been doing, and I'm just thinking that when I finish the autumn colours, when I start on my blues and pinks, I think maybe I'm going to have to learn how to baste these with thread, which I actually haven't done before. So when I started quilting, when I started appliquing a quilt, I was introduced to Helen Stubbing's designs, and she does Hugs and Kisses designs here in Tasmania, and she used the glue stick. So that's the way that I learnt to do it, and so I learnt to do paper piecing using the glue stick as well, and I just have never got around to learning how to baste with sewing. So yeah, I think that might be my next challenge when I get round to the blue and kind of pink kind of colours in these. So as I was saying, I have been putting some of these together, and I've got a little board here. I'm not quite sure how this will go. Me trying to show you. So here is the board. I have I wonder, maybe if I sit it on my chair, it might be easier to show you. So at the moment I have got a section here which I have put together, so it's only two kind of flowers wide at the moment. These are some of my other autumn ones that are separate. What I am thinking is maybe putting together, maybe making it 3 wide. So what I want to make is a bit of a table runner as an autumn display. But I haven't quite decided yet. I'm not quite sure how long to make it, but I think I'll wait till I finish all my other autumny coloured pieces, and then I will try and put them together and see whether I want it 3 wide. I think 3 would be wide enough for a table runner, and I just want as a bit of a display. So that's my thought at the moment. But of course that is also an ongoing project. And oh, here I am. Sorry about that. That was a bit clumsy doing it that way. But anyway, so yes, I think I'll finish all my little autumn coloured flowers, put them together, and then have a go at kind of like moving them around, deciding where I'm going to put them and how I'm going to put them together. So I think, yes, I'm going to work my way slowly, if I can get this back up. Yes, I'll be working my way slowly through these ones here, and with all my lovely colours here as well. And then I have I kind of like a plastic container out in the other room full of all the other colours, the kind of like more summery kind of colours, which then I'll make another table runner, I think, for that, so I can use that in a different season. So that's about it, really. I mean, as you can probably see from back here, of course, I haven't got around to doing any weaving. This is what I was hoping to use for some tea towels, but I'll have to wait till I'm feeling a little bit better. I still, even though I feel well, I still don't have a lot of energy, so I can't really get a lot done, or as much as I would like to be able to get done at the moment. But at least I'm still making some things. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Not a lot. February was not the best month for me, but we're now in March, so we can kind of move on from that as well. And and just before I got sick as well, I was going to say, I was going to get the books down here, but I don't have them. But I have read a really, really great book called Wild Island, which is based here in Tasmania, but based here in the 1830s. And it's like a historical, cross between a historical novel, so actually a factual historical novel crossed with Jane Eyre. So if anyone finds that kind of intriguing, I would highly recommend people going to look that up, and I will put the name of the author down in the description bar below, because off the top of my head I can't remember her name. But I mean, I love that kind of a book. It's very historically correct. They have some quite well-known people in it, and then some other people who I think their names have been changed. Some of the characters' names have been changed, but the areas that they talk about and the actual buildings and the setting in Hobart is all factual. So yeah, I just found it really, really interesting. And one of the main characters in the book, all main characters, one of the leading characters, is a lady called Lady Jane Franklin, who is a really interesting kind of character. And there's a few different opinions about actually what type of character she really was in real life, whether she was actually a likable lady, or whether or not she was just heavily criticised by the males in charge, because she was quite outspoken and did a lot of things that they thought women probably shouldn't be doing, and was too outspoken politically as well. And so at the same time, I have now got another book, which is a story of Lady Jane Franklin, which I'm about to start reading as well. So I'll tell you about that as well. So if you're interested in a little bit of Jane Eyre romance, together with some factual kind of Hobart history, and Hobart being, of course, the capital of Tasmania, which is the little island that I'm on, I would well yeah, I would suggest going and having a look and having a read of the book because it's well worth it. That's Wild Island. Okay, so that's about it, really. That's, yeah, that is it. I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this little video and having a look to see what I've been making. And, yeah, I will see you all later. Bye.